Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Angelica here. If you're new, then come in, have a seat, have several seats. And if you're not new, thank you for having me once again all up on your screen. I want to discuss the things that I did to get into a top university, especially to study law. These are the 6 things that I did to get into a top university. I understand I might be oversimplifying it. I wanted to get this video out for those of you who are in the stages of preparing your university application, or at least starting to consider it. So UCAS season is fast approaching. I think from September applications will open and you guys will be able to apply for your dream universities. So why not get ahead with this video? Obviously top universities have a reputation for having high standards, and top universities in general care a lot about your grades. So the most important thing to begin with is to have good grades. Now I know for some of you who've come from backgrounds like mine, you might not have the stellar string of A stars behind you. So when I say good grades, this is literally very subjective, and this is one thing that a lot of universities are starting to consider, like LSE where I happen to study. Good grades are subjective, but for the most part it's very important for you to stand in a statistically good spot as a student. If you are in the top 10% of your cohort, generally you will be classed as an excellent student. Might be in the top 15% as well. Generally, to get into a top university you need A stars and A's at GCSEs, but if you have B's, then you can still get into a top university, especially if you come from a lower socioeconomic background where, like in my school for instance, like barely anyone, okay, let me not say barely anyone, but like it was already an achievement for you to get 5 GCSEs. Now imagine getting 10 really good GCSEs. You are, by virtue of statistics, you are an excellent student. You need to be strategic, especially when it comes to A levels. I really definitely, like honestly, I can't stress this enough, do the subjects you're genuinely interested in. It doesn't matter, well okay, it does matter what subjects you do. So there are some subjects called facilitating subjects that are more respected, and LSE definitely prioritizes facilitating subjects, as do many other universities, but still generally you need about 2 or 3 facilitating subjects if you want to stand out, but you can choose 2. I did maths, which was my absolute biggest regret, doing maths at AS level, because I didn't enjoy it. So I ended up doing 5 A levels and dropping maths. So basically I wasted a whole damn option. I could have done another subject that I would have genuinely enjoyed, wow. I could have done another subject that I would have genuinely enjoyed. So it's so important, because you're gonna do so much more better in something you genuinely enjoy than to force yourself to do a subject that you probably will end up not with a great grade in. It's better to get an A star in media than to get a C in maths. Trust me, you won't get into LSE with a C in maths, but you will probably have a higher chance of having your application looked at if you have an A star in a subject that you actually enjoy. Next thing I did was I had an amazing personal statement. My personal statement was essentially kind of a manifesto in the sense that I basically made my personal statement. Looking back at it, it was very LSE like. It was very like, this is my point and I'm setting out to prove my point in this personal statement. LSE was a perfect fit for me because I've always been interested in the wider picture, like of social sciences and economics and political theory and international relations and law. But for me, I believe law is the driver of all of this. Law facilitates everything around the what's that word? Oh my god, I'm so embarrassing, I can't even remember the word. Law is, what's that word? Oh my god, like
what's the word that you used to describe like machine? Law is the machine.
Law is the machine that makes the world go round. I basically discussed how I developed this view, how I discovered law. I spoke about how I've interacted with law through economics, through different channels, being involved in politics as well, my observation of law working through politics. I spoke about drama. I linked drama to law. Lawyers have to be ready to defend people regardless of our own personal view. Through acting, I have had to play roles that I personally don't morally identify with, but you still have to be able to put yourself in that person's shoes. So I did the absolute most. I'm not even gonna lie, my personal statement was amazing, if I do say so myself. So yeah, I had a lot of extracurricular activities activities that I was doing. Like till today, I'm quite like, I like to keep myself busy. Before, I did a lot of drama, I used to act, I was in a few presentations, I was in the Olympic ceremony. There was like I did some acting with like a few theatre groups, and I was chosen to like feature in a presentation for the Olympic ceremony. I used to do stuff with Barking Broadway Theatre, not quite Oscar nominated type of performances. I was in a few billboards around my borough for this campaign. We had like a viral video, they called it viral, but really, who watched it apart from us? Who watched that video apart from, I can even, if I find it on YouTube, I'll show you. It was like a campaign against like teenage pregnancy through this theatre group that I absolutely love. They were called the Chain Reaction Theatre Group, and I used to sing as well. I've been in a gospel choir. Oh, I still sing. What do I mean I used to sing? I'm in a gospel choir. I've been in this gospel choir for about 6 years now, and I've done like other like singing type of stuff. Then I also I was involved in a lot of politics and like just like youth action in my borough, because obviously I care about making a difference wherever I go. So I spoke about that, like being a leader in my community, what it's like you know, to have to speak to crowds and address people and learn like to change my communication style according to my audience. I did so many summer schools. Oh my god, guys, I was everywhere. Like one week I was in Cambridge, next week I was in Warwick, the other week I was in freaking underground in King's College London. And one thing that I definitely learned from all of that is that you definitely have to prioritize your education. It's the cherry on top if you have extracurricular activities to back it up.
Extracurricular activities. Why am I saying it like that? Extracurricular.
So many people are competing for these spaces at top universities. So many people have been to the schools you have not been to. So many people are given the resources you don't have access to. And the only way, especially if you're a minority student, the only way you can at least guarantee that your application will be looked at is if your merits speak for themselves. You cannot change these things that are not in your control. But what is in your control is your performance when it comes to your academic attainment. I'm gonna be honest, guys. References, they're important, but coming from my school, I didn't think my references were going to be outstanding. I think there were probably typos in my references, and I'm very honest with you. There's stuff that happened that I'm not going to speak on because it might have been illegal, but what I'm going to say is that I made sure that the things that were said in my reference weren't already said in my personal statement. Think of it as an extra shot for them to get to know you, and given, like, not to toot my own horn, but I had a lot of things that I had done outside of school that I didn't get to spin my personal statement. I think I only spoke about 1 or 2 work experience programs that I did, but I had done like a ton of work experience already. So when it came to my reference, anything that I didn't say in my personal statement that I might have thought was important, such as, you know, my position in my class and where I rank, they would have spoken about it in my reference. And like if I had any extenuating, mitigating circumstances, then that is the point to speak about it. If it's actually important and relevant to why you want to study your subject, then you can speak about it in your personal statement. I did have a philosophy of who I was. I have, for the most part, been quite like an outgoing person on paper, in terms of like, you can look at me and think I'm an ideal law student. You can also look at me and think, you know what, this person's going down the finance route. You can look at me and say I'm going down the politics route. I'm multi-dimensional, and I wanted this to come across in my application to university. I don't want to be boxed up, because honestly, I am more than like a law student. I'm more than someone who's currently interning in investment banking. I have a bigger vision of where I want to see my, like, what I want to achieve, and like the kind of life I want for myself and the people around me. And like, just let me not even go into detail now, but I have a bigger, like, I have such like a wide arching vision, and I can achieve my goals through so many different channels. And I wanted this to be clear that, honey, I'm applying to this university, it's a top university, but with or without you, my path is set, right? And I think that's one thing, like with LSE, they choose students that are going to be successful either way. And I wanted to come across as someone who has high ambition, and law is definitely going to play a part in where I go in the future, but for the most part I am multidimensional and I take opportunities that come my way. I'm motivated, I'm driven, I'm determined, and I wanted them to not just see me as a potential law student, but to see me as a potential asset of a human being to enter the institution. I'm more concerned about them seeing the values that have helped me to overcome so many challenges in my life, and I think I did a very good job at doing that. And the last thing I did was I made sure I was realistic. So, you know, it's important to make sure that, like, if you're predicted 3 Bs, maybe you should aim for better grades and then apply when you have the grades, so that way you would already have like your ammunition. LSE asks for A star AA and you're predicted 3 Bs, they're probably not gonna give you an offer because you're predicted something other than what they need as a minimum. I didn't quite do this, but I wanted to do it. I wanted to take a gap year before university, but I went to Oxford. But like, plan to take a gap year, work your butt off, like achieve better than anyone expected, and then you can just apply to literally any university in goddamn country with your chest, because you meet all their criteria. That's the best way to do it. There are some universities that have higher grade offers than they actually take, so I know, no tea no shade, but universities like Queen Mary, I think they ask for A star AA. For law, they take people with like ABV when it comes to results. So make sure you're choosing universities that actually have the higher standards, and make your firm universities the ones that you know aren't gonna budge. Okay, so my camera ran out of memory. Oh, okay. Yeah, basically, like, I was just very realistic. I applied to universities that I thought I could get into, but also I had like big goals as well. So I had like best case scenario, worst case scenario, best case scenario, most likely scenario, and backup scenario. So like, have universities that like are, you know, super high ambitious, super high ambition, super high target, let's say that, high target, mid target, and, you know, okay target, you know, backup kind of target. LSE and Oxford University don't do adjustment. Cambridge has now created an adjustment program, which is kind of like a bit different from the normal way, but it's still adjustment. So now they do adjustment, but for universities like Oxford and LSE, you can't go through like adjustment or clearing, so you absolutely need to get your grades. Whereas universities like Queen Mary, for instance, and other universities, I'm not just, it's because I can't think of other ones right now, but like, there are loads of other universities that say they want 3 A's or A star AA only because they want people with good grades to apply to them. But some of them tell you that you can, if you pick them, they'll give you extra money. Don't fall in for that trap. You can go to a better university and earn higher than taking a £2,000 bursary. Like, it doesn't even compare. Going to like the best university you can get into versus going to like a mid-tier university but having £2,000 extra in your pocket, like, which makes the most sense. Delayed gratification always makes the most sense. Don't fall for short-term pleasures and short-term gratification. I promise you it will pay off in the long run if you make the decision that is best for your future. This is me today in this video. Thanks so much for watching this video, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you leave a comment down in the comment section and connect with me on my other social media channels, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!